Hello everybody, welcome to episode 4 of the Painting in Photoshop series. We got the timer set for about 20 to 30 minutes, and today's episode we're going to try to kind of recreate the idea that's in this photo. This is a photo that my friend Leah took. I saw it on Instagram and on her Facebook, and it is amazing. She's a very talented photographer, and what I love about this picture is obviously the colors are stunning. And it's also a very simple yet effective composition here with like the dark mountains in the bottom, but still catching a little bit of sunlight. And then obviously these clouds that are on fire. Now, I'm not going to try to directly copy this photo. That wouldn't be that much fun. But we're going to try to take the idea, the concept of this photograph and kind of make our own version of it. So one thing I want to take note is the colors here. This shadowy color of the snow, I feel like that's going to be a tricky one, so I'm just kind of like making a mental note and just clamping down, copying that color and putting it down there of how dark it is. Same here for the shadowy and the color in the mountains, and then just how bright these clouds are going to get, something like that. And then maybe the sky can go from this purplish color right here to about this color right there. And now if I turn the photo off, this is like, you know, the gray is my kind of background. I kind of have this mental note of the colors that I want to be using, kind of just to kind of give me a bit of a direction of, you know, what I love about the photo is the colors, and it would be a shame if that gets lost somewhere around along the way where I kind of forget what they look like. So I just took a mental note. Starting off, we're going to grab these colors that we just put down, and I'm just kind of like blending them together like so. Just working my way back and forth between the two colors. My reference color sheet can go away for a minute. Right up. I'm just gonna make this a little bit darker over here. Maybe grab something a little bit more like that. And I will put it in like so. Now, the sky in the background of the photo was very soft. And right now there might be a little bit too much texture of these clouds in there. So I'm just going to grab a simple round brush and just go over it a couple more times just to smooth it out a little bit. And I don't mind the texture, like the cloudy texture in the foreground as much, but I want the background to be kind of smooth, something like that. And I definitely don't mind one bit being a little bit more, like one side being a little bit more lit up than the other. So I kind of like that. And gradually we're upping the contrast a little bit as we get to the top here, something like that. I kind of like that. Boom. So that's our little backdrop. We'll get to the fiery clouds a little bit later, I think. For now, I'm just going to grab a kind of like a sturdy brush, and I'm going to grab my color reference real quick. This was my color for the mountains that are kind of like its neutral color. I'm gonna up the opacity of my brush, and I have this little grit, and I'm just gonna drop my mountain peaks right there, something like that. And then I think, as I remember, it kind of went down like that. Boom. Just gonna blob in a big old mountain like that, and we can kind of compare it to our photo later. But I'm not trying to copy the photo 100%. I'm just taking the general idea, the colors, the atmosphere, the composition slightly, but I definitely want it to be kind of like my own, you know, my own little shapes and my own little take on it. So I'm trying not to use the reference any other than just the general idea. Now, what I usually like to do, and we did this in previous episodes too, is when we're doing these kind of shapes, like the edges are all kind of like round and maybe not super alpine looking. So I'm just going to grab an eraser with a very sharp brush. Oh no, I messed it up. Like I said, I'm grabbing an eraser with a very sharp brush, and I'm just gonna slightly carve out parts of these mountain bits that I kind of like want to have a different shape. So maybe there's like a little peak right there. This can definitely be a little bit steeper too, something like that maybe, and then steep up, boom, something like that. Yeah, I actually kind of liked how earlier on we had this thing where it kind of goes up again here. Yeah, that's better. I like that. Maybe this can be a little bit smaller that way. Set them apart a little bit. Actually, nah. Nah. Fill this in again. Boom. Big old peak right there. Something like that. Cool, I like that one. That one's like square, that's different. Things are better when they're different. Ooh, I like this one with this peak being a little bit smaller. Kind of like pushes it to the background a little bit more. And we can make this a little bit bigger like that. Cool, going into my shadowy color, I'm just gonna select what we just put in our as our basic mountain shape. I'm gonna have a little sip of my coffee. Fuel for the brain. I'm just gonna grab a brush that's a little bit broken up like this one. I'm just gonna drop in a couple of these shadowy colors. Now I'm just kind of like trying to figure out how this mountain is shaped. Definitely don't care too much at this point. We're going to be tweaking and tweaking a little bit later on. The light, as I recall from the photo, was coming from the right, so we want our shadows to be maybe more on the left side of things and have the right side be the lit up side. So I'm just going to drop in a little bit more shadow on the sides that I think are going to catch more shadow, something like that. And now we can go back into original mountain color, and I'm just going to go back over some of these right sides of the hill. Maybe this can be linked together. Oh yeah, that creates a little bit of depth right there. That's pretty good. Boom, something like that. Cool. Now we had a bit of, was that already our snowy color? Maybe it was. We'll grab a little bit of the sky color. And just gonna turn it slightly brighter, slightly more white. And with that same brush, I'm just gonna go up here and maybe layer in a couple of snowy peaks, something like that. Actually, might switch brush a little bit. I'm not quite sure whether this is the texture that I want. Let's see what this does. Yeah, it's all right, I guess. Oh, I'm just gonna layer in a couple of these snowy highlighty bits, something like that. Doesn't have to be perfect. Nature is rough after all. Snow is gonna lay wherever it wants to lay. So we're not paying too much attention to where it all comes down. Something like that. Maybe this can have a little bit more like that. Ooh, I like that. Yeah, something like that. Cool. I'm just grabbing that same snowy color that we had before, and I'm just going to turn it a smidge blue, maybe a smidge more purplish. See what that does if you put it on the other side. I have a little bit of a shadowy color going on. That might be a little bit much. Actually, is it? Oh, I like that. That's subtle. That's cool. Boom. And all of a sudden this thing is really taking shape, which is cool. It's what we want. Do think that we can go a little bit more nuts with the shadows here, maybe. And the more layers we stack up onto one another, the more detailed this thing is going to become. So you can keep working on it for as long as you want and have it be more detailed and more detailed. But I'm going to move on to the cloud soon, I think. Ooh, I kind of like how there's maybe like a little dip of shade right there. That's cool. Yeah. Something like that. Righto, that's going to be our mountain for now. I'm just going to grab a new layer with a big old fluffy brush, and with the opacity set pretty low, like 20%, just going to smudge out the bottom part here, make it a little bit hazy, something like that, so that the peaks are definitely what's catching the eye the most. Maybe we'll add a different transparency type to it. And you know what? It was fine. Maybe we'll just lower the transparency a little bit. Maybe this can be like a 50% transparency. Yeah, that kind of works. Cool. So onwards to our cloud section. Now this is where the fire kind of comes in. We had our clouds be super bright, kind of like that kind of color. And just deleting my color reference real quick. I'm just going to start off with a neutralish color, and where I want these clouds to hang is just on the side here, this mountain peak kind of coming up. I think it was kind of like in a diagonal kind of fashion going up like that. And then as we get to the top of these clouds, they could be a little bit darker. Maybe that was a little bit much. Maybe we'll delete that. Undo, undo. Yeah, a little bit more subtle. Something like that. And it can definitely be a funky shape. Something like that. It's starting to look like something. That looks pretty wild to me. Wild and fiery is what we're going for. Just like in the photograph. And we can have some here. Maybe there's some clouds coming right over these hills somewhere over here. Something like that. Make them a little bit fluffy on the side. Grab that highlight color. We might brighten this up a little bit like that. To kind of set apart different types of layers of cloud. And we'll use that same color just to add a little tiny fluffs here at the top. That's pretty cool. Dipping into our shadowy color and just gonna pull some of the shadow down here. Something like that. Cool. What else did we have on colors? Oh yeah, we had this really super fiery color. Now we want to be kind of subtle with this and just kind of like add more as we progress into a little bit more vividness in this painting. For now, I'm just going to layer in a bunch of these bright oranges and we'll see what it does later on. And we're going to grab the fiery color that was accompanying that. Just going to drop in some here and there. Boom. Righto. Now, when we remove this thing, it might look like the vividness is a little bit off. Now we're going to try and fix that. So I'm going to go into the shadow color, zoom in on the cloud a little bit. I'm going to up the opacity 80%. And ooh, that might be a little bit much. Let's go a little bit more subtle, something like that. That's cool. I will just want to like drop in a little bit of this neutral bluish purple or grayish purple bluish color, so that the more vivid hues are going to sit on top of that, and then there's kind of like less mud in between with the transparency that I was adding in earlier. And already this cloud is kind of like looking a little bit more natural already, just from not having that many layers stacked on top of one another and kind of looking like watercolors, I suppose. Something like that. Yeah. Hey. Man, this is turning into one big old cotton ball mushroom cloud. That's fine. Add some more here. So maybe this can poof up to the side a little bit. Let's go a little bit nuts with this thing. This can go maybe this just turning into a really funky cloud shape, something like that. And then we can maybe grab an eraser. I said maybe we can grab an eraser. With a very soft brush, I'm just gonna smudge up or delete some of this stuff here on the side. Now I got the opacity setting of the eraser set to 20, so it doesn't do a whole lot of work immediately, but the more strokes we add, the more of a difference it'll make. You can already tell that this cloud is taking a little bit more of a natural shape. Boom. That's cool. I like that. And now we're going back into our shadowy color. Ooh, maybe we'll add some of these really dark things over here. Yeah. That's cool. And then maybe this can be a little bit darker too. Boom. Maybe it'll have like a little tail coming out right there. Yeah, that kind of works. Right up. I'm just gonna make this brush like really big and fluff up some of this stuff. That kind of works. As if this like one pillar of cloud is rising from its fluffy brethren. Boom. Where did our bright colors go? We'll use some of this. You got opacity set to high. Just gonna layer in some of these bright fluffy things like right there. That's cool. I like that. It's really kind of like, I like how just like these very tiny bits get a bit of highlight and not much else. Maybe there's like a little bit of highlight coming through here, but we definitely don't want to go overboard with this color. It's like super extreme. So just a touch here and there, and it really sets it apart. Kind of starting to look like a crazy crazy donkey unicorn, like eyes over here and there's a mouth over here. I digress. Smudge tool, where are you? I'm just gonna fluffen up some of this stuff. Just grabbing the smudge tool, set the strength to 20, and just gonna pull a little bit of this stuff like up and sideways. Man, this really is starting to look like a donkey. Boom. Especially these super bright highlights. Just want to soften them up a little bit. We're gonna go back and erase the donkey face, I think. And something like, oh no, I made it worse. Let's grab this. Yeah, that kind of works. Maybe there can be like a little fluffy tail coming out there. Maybe that'll mix it up a little bit. Yes, be gone, cow face. It's like that sometimes. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. It ruins the whole thing. Righto, that's a little bit better. Back to our super bright highlight color. And I'm just gonna add in some of these highlights over here maybe. Alright, now it's looking a little bit more natural. I like that. Especially here at the very top. Lots of light. Lots of light on the edges here. Maybe a little bit down here. Cool. I kind of like this color so much that I feel like we should probably add some of the snow in our mountain that's like lit up like this color. I feel like that was in the original photograph too. I just kind of forgot about it. So I'm just going to grab that highlight color. Not the right brush for it. Hold on. We need a different brush. Maybe we need something like this one. Make it a little bit brighter so it stands out a little bit from the rest of our snow bits. Not bright enough. Also, I should set the opacity to probably 100. Make it really stand out. Oh yeah, that kind of works. Yes. More detail. Let's make it a little bit more orange. Bright orange. Like it's on fire. Oh yeah, now we're getting somewhere. That totally works. Some over here too. Some over here. Not too phased about adding in exact details, just dropping it in somewhere. Something like that. Now maybe we'll grab our shadowy color. We can add in a little bit of rough patches here and there over in this mountain. Here I am going detailing anyways. Told you I wasn't going to do that, but now we are. Whoops. Back to our highlight color. Fix this bit. Oh yeah, maybe this can come off to the side like that. That kind of works. Go into a shadowy color. Maybe this comes down like that. And some rough patches here. Cool. Now, one thing I want to do before wrapping this one up is I kind of want to, well, I feel like we've done a pretty good job in like getting the glowy effect and the, or at least like the composition's kind of there. I do feel like it's missing a little bit of glow, a little bit of atmosphere. So what I might do is first we might go back to our cloud and add one more layer of highlight with something fluffy like this. I'm just going to grab this color. Maybe we'll set the brush to something like linear dodge / add. Just set the opacity kind of low, 20%. And I'm just going to drop in a tiny bit of these little highlighty things. Got to be super subtle with these because with the brush settings as they are with the linear dodge, it just adds up really quick. So I'm just going to drop in a tiny bit of highlights over here somewhere. Man, that really sets it apart, doesn't it? That's pretty cool. I like it. Maybe we'll change the opacity to 10. We'll go even lower, something around that. I'm just going to give it a bit of a glow over on the sides here. Yes. Yes. Come alive. That looks really cool, actually. I like that. That's a cool effect. Something like that. Just gonna grab the smudge tool and smudge this out a little bit. I want this to be a little bit more subtle. Something like that. Then we can do the same with our little mountain peak, I suppose, where just got the linear dodge going on. I'm just gonna drop in a little bit of this glow over on our mountain peaks and just watch it come alive. Boom, look at that. Look at all these highlights just popping out. Maybe this can be like super bright down here because it's closest to us. And maybe they can be a little bit more glow. We'll go back to our cloud layer. Wait, where's our background layer? This is fine. Just gonna drop in some highlights over here close to the edge of the mountains. Just gonna make my brush a little bit bigger so we can cover a bigger part in one go. Righto. And this will pretty much be our painting for today. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I feel like we kind of captured the atmosphere of the original photograph that we kind of like had as our inspiration. So thank you, Leah, for well, I didn't really ask, but I'm just using your photo. You got to deal with it. But yeah, this is going to be our painting for today. Hope you all had a good time watching. And be sure to subscribe to the channel. Leave a like. Leave a comment if you want to send in a photo or anything that I could maybe replicate for next time. And you can leave that in the comments. And then we'll catch you on the next one. Thank you all for watching. Have an awesome day. And yeah, I'll probably be back with a new episode in maybe a day or two. Who knows? Just paint whenever I feel like painting. And so should you. Enjoy, everybody. Catch you on the next one.